is an answer that comes out of eschatology, Christian eschatology and Jewish eschatology. When I wrote my book on Gog and Magog, an Islamic view of Gog and Magog in the modern world, and we're going to be close to the end of the lecture now, I decided to confine myself to data that is located in the Quran and the Ahadith. And I'm strictly not going to touch any data that comes out of the Bible and the Torah. But maybe somebody will come after me who will do that job and widen the analysis that you'll find in my book. What I found is that their understanding of Gog and Magog is different from mine. I have identified the Magog of the Quran with Russia and the Russian alliance. And I've identified the Gog of the Quran with the Anglo-American-Israeli alliance. And that these two have to clash with a nuclear clash. The Quran says, وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْدَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. And I understand the ayah to be referring to the clash between Gog and Magog. But when we interpret, we must say Allah knows best. Allah knows best. That clash between Gog and Magog is going to be a nuclear clash, thermonuclear clash. I don't think there's any way that mankind can escape from it. The writing is on the wall. And when you see civil war in Turkey, you know, we're moving towards the conquest of Istanbul, which is known in the Hadith as Constantinople, about which Prophet Muhammad ﷺ spoke. Istanbul today is not a Muslim city, oh no. Istanbul is a NATO city, NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So Istanbul has to be liberated. And I think that the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is an end-time prophecy. And when Istanbul is liberated, then Russia will have an outlet for the Russian Navy to enter the Mediterranean. And these are nuclear-armed submarines and ships. So the battle is going to be a little bit more even then. Maybe that nuclear confrontation between Gog and Magog is going to produce the Dukhan, which is one of the 10 signs of the last day, the smoke. And the overwhelming majority of mankind will not survive. Particularly those who are in the cities and towns. So you might want to think about my suggestion. You know the one? The remotely located Muslim village that you have not been tremendously impressed about. But now you might want to think about it a little better. They are of the view that Libya is part of Gog and Magog. And so they have to bring Libya under their control in order to fulfill their eschatology. This has been a brief presentation. I've only touched on the political oppression. I've only touched on the economic oppression and the riba. I have commended the Egyptian and the Tunisian people for the glorious example they have set in conformity with the Quran of rising up against the oppressor. وَمَا لَكُمْ, what's wrong with you? وَمَا لَكُمْ لَا تُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ إِلَى آخِرِ الْآيَةِ. What's wrong with you? Why don't you rise up and fight in the way of Allah? For the people who are helpless, men, women and children crying out to the heavens above. Send us someone to help us. Why can't you rise up? So we commend them. We also went on to speak about possible developments with free and fair elections, bringing Islamic governments to power. the interesting questions that can be raised with regard to Gaza and to alleviation from poverty and destitution. I wish I had more time to deal with that one. And then we turn to the eschatology and Israel's manifest destiny to rule the world. The great wars that Israel will have to rule. You should read Jerusalem in the Quran to get the bigger analysis. But Israel does not want to appear as an aggressor. And so the Arab uprisings will eventually be used to portray an Islam that is a menace to Israel and to mankind. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may bless all those who return to the Quran with the methodology I will explain tomorrow night, inshallah, to seek from the book of Allah and to seek from Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam that which explains the strange world in which we live today, and that which guides us how to respond appropriately to its awesome challenges. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين.